Let's talk about first position. How do you use first position in your playing?
You know, when I think about blues harp, the standard way that people would use it would be on a certain kind of slow, medium slow blues. That's how most people use it. And I'm like anybody else. My first position stuff probably begins with "Cruisin' for Love" by the J. Giles Band, or what's the James Cotton tune? "How Long Can a Fool Go Wrong?" And I love that kind of control that he had. So I do a little bit of that. I don't particularly like trying to do the, cross my heart, Sonny Boy kind of slow stuff. I think it's been done well. It doesn't need me doing it. There's a few places where I would use first. So I'm interested in, and I developed a couple of chord. Here's something actually. Steve Tracy, a player out of Cincinnati, who's an English professor who does blues literature, a wonderful blues scholar, but also a powerful. Stephen C. Tracy, powerful with the King Snakes. He was a guy in Cincinnati. And he did something like this. So I worked up something that uses that riff. Isn't that cool? Then I started to get interested in the overblows, and that's where I think that's the growth area in first position. In a weird way, is we all know how to play blues, sort of lower octave, upper octave. It's that middle octave. What do you do in there? There's no blues pitches unless you overblow. A little hard on the A harp. On the C. So, let's see. Isn't that cool? Wow. First position, middle octave, C harp. I haven't really followed it through. So the answer is that, but there's one other thing that I will do a little for you, which I think is in the public domain now. Scott Joplin, the Entertainer. That's something that I'm very proud. I worked up an arrangement of that many years ago when I was traveling with Big River, and you know what? I didn't take out my custom harp. There it is. So this is a $120 Joe Spires Stage 1. I don't use custom harps, but for this song, can I play a little bit of the Entertainer?
Please.
A little version of the Entertainer. Overblow. I worked out, and I have the bridge. You'll notice all the tongue blocking stuff, right? There are people out there who think that I only lip purse. I don't know what I have to do to make them understand that I tongue block, that it's crucial. But that's the stuff Nat showed me. All that kind of basic stuff. So I worked out that arrangement when I was with Big River, and fall of '87, William Gallison, who I took over from with Big River, showed me how to do my first overblow. And knowing that I could do that, I then went and got the sheet music for the Entertainer and spent about 3 weeks just painstakingly, one note at a time. Do I read music? No. I'm 1% sight reader, so I was able to pick enough of it off that I was able to work up a pretty good arrangement, which again, I put on my album.
That's neat.
Isn't that neat? So first position. The one other thing I'll say about that though, which is Wade Schumann. In the summer of '86, I was over in Paris, and Wade Schumann, Hazmat Modine. He came out of the mists and showed up outside a busker bar in Paris called Le Mazet. And I was like, who's this? Somebody says, you should meet this other harmonica player. He's really good. And he gets up there and he starts doing this old-timey. And I was like, what? Where'd you get that stuff? What is that? He goes, Yazoo. Great harmonica grades of the 20s and 30s, right? And so I went home that summer and got that album and sat there cross-legged in front of the record player, just like, what is going on?
That's the one with the Art Crumb.
The Art Crumb
cover, yeah.
That was extremely important. And so again, any harp player, I may be known for certain kinds of overblow type of stuff, but just that old-timey stuff was important. I don't live in it now, but I'm really glad that I spent the time learning. You never know when it's going to come in handy. The weird thing I've learned is that sometimes grooves that you learn out of one idiom turn out to be really important. How many times, I'm sure you've been on a bandstand, a pickup gig, and somebody puts a song out there, and it's a song you don't know necessarily. You hear the groove, and there's something you can quickly throw over it, and it turns out you got that from some old Sonny Terry. And it's like it's a funk tune or something, right? Yeah, I've had that happen a lot.
Yeah.
And it turns out the country gig that you did, Yeah. So so first position for me is that, and I don't play any other positions. I play the tiniest little bit of, I think it's 12th, where the 5 draw is your root. Very little. I won't even talk about it. I'm not really that interested in the other positions. I think 3 are enough, and I've done a fair bit with one and not very much with the other 2. So that's pretty much where I am.